Okay, so for the first question, if your answer was high, then you were correct because it's a high level programming language. Um, in Python, you can use print function to display information in the console. It should work in the console. Then number three is variables. This one is sensitive. Strings, integers, and floats. To declare a variable, you simply provide the name and assign a value. Sorry, a value. The plus operator is used for adding, multiplying. String function can be used to convert a number. Then to perform integer division, you can use dash dash. So does anyone have any question from what I just corrected? Is this clear? Please just if you can leave a thumbs up or something so that I can know that we're following. So did anyone get that part? All right. So if you had an issue there, fine. So now the next one is the advanced exercises. So I asked for everyone to create a program that converts dollar to your local currency. My local currency is naira, and the exchange rate for dollar to naira is I'm going to use 800. Now, I noticed that for this exercise, some people were using functions. Like I saw wild things, man. I saw a lot of things for people that are just starting. It was quite advanced. Now, while I applaud the advanced method, I just don't want you to get confused. So if at this point, if I give an assignment, I would prefer if you give me a solution that is at the level of the lesson. If I've not taught functions, there's no need to use functions now. Fine. So go speaking on that, this is how I expected the answer of this to be. So we have dollar, the variable dollar, and we say integer. I should do this directly. Hold on. Let me do this directly in my idle. Okay. Dollar equal to integer input. How much dollar do you have? Okay. Now, I know the last time I didn't teach input and integer, but I wanted people to do the research. Now, here's the thing. Last time we only just did dollar equal to, let's say, 500. So let's say the person has $500 and they want to convert it to naira. That's the essence of this program. You have $500, you want to know how much it will be in naira. So to get naira, I would say naira is equal to dollar times, I'm using 800 as rate, then I would say print naira. So I'm going to close this. I'm just going to make this invisible. So let me make this one invisible so we can test it out. Uh, then run this, and it has given us, so the person with $500 has 400,000 naira. I can take it a little step further and print f okay, no, let me not show that now. So let me now make this invisible and run this line. So if we run the line with the input, it will ask us how much dollar do you have. Then I would say, okay, let me say $1,000 is what I have. then it will tell me, okay, for $1,000 you have 800,000 naira. Let me be sure I'm not just ranting and I'm not alone. Sorry. So did you guys get that? Did you get it? Is does anyone have any question? Did you get that part of the exercise? I need okay. Um, okay. What's the problem? You didn't solve it well. Is it how you solved it, or should I explain it again? Mary, I'm seeing you. I'm referring to your chat. So do you need me to explain it
Yeah,
again?
please, I want you to explain it again because I didn't understand why you put integer before you open the bracket.
Okay, all right, I'll do that. Okay, so let me go back to the code. Now, what we are doing, I don't know if I said it in class before. Before you write a program, before you write code, think about the mass behind the code before you write the code. They say think of the problem you want to solve before you write code, right? So the assignment was write a program that converts dollar to your local currency. Now we need variables, we need print statements, and in this we need variables, we need print statement, we need operator, and in this case the operator we are using here now is the multiplication operator, and then a special case like this we need input. Now what input does, we are going to today's class is about input. That's why I don't want to go too much into it because I can't explain a lot, like I can't go far into it now because that's what today's class is about. But input just allows you to receive information from the user, from the person that is running, that is using your code. So as I've if I take this off, if I take this line off, this is just what I needed you to do. This is just what I needed. Simple. This is just what I needed. Dollar is equal to 500. Naira is equal to dollar times 500. Eight, sorry, dollar times 800. 800 being the exchange rate. Then when I say print naira, simple. Now, let me get back the code I removed. Now, input just says, as I asked here, how much dollar do you have? In the console, it asked me, how much dollar do you have? Then I put the amount 1,000. It now did the mass. So integer just makes it recognize what I put inside the input as a number. Simple. I would explain better on in the assignment. But if you didn't use input for your exercise, no wahala, no problem. Do you get it now? If you didn't use input before to do the exercise, there's no big deal. It's just something I was like, if you want to take your research further, just do it. So the next one is to convert temperature from Celsius to Fahrenheit. Um, I feel like this call is too quiet. Can anyone tell me how they solved for it? Is there anyone that wants to share with everyone how they solved for um Celsius? Let me paste it in the chat. Okay. Moyo, your hands are up. Mary.
So for this one, I just put a value for Celsius. Then I Googled the formula, like to convert from Celsius to Fahrenheit.
I mean, tell me what to
And
write.
then,
Tell me what to type. I will do it so everyone
oh,
can see.
okay, okay. So what I did was Celsius equals 30,
Celsius equals to what?
30.
Okay.
Then Fahrenheit equals 30.
Mm-hmm.
That's multiplication in Python. I don't know what they call it. I can't remember. But yeah, 1.8
Mm-hmm.
plus 32.
Plus 32.
Then yes,
Mm-hmm.
then print in brackets Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit, so that's pronounced.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I did.
Okay, thank you for sharing what you did. Is there any other person that did something different or did something that is similar? Is there anyone that wants to also share what they did before I run it?
Oh wow, I didn't even know that way to do the Fahrenheit converter.
So what did you do?
I only just did the currency converter. I didn't even know there was an assignment for Fahrenheit.
Oh, there were three questions. It was not just Fahrenheit. It was dollar, Fahrenheit, and hour to seconds.
Oh my god.
So how did you? Okay. Well, it's fine. You can still send yours to me after the class. No
Okay.
problem. But then is there? I don't think
Okay.
there's still any need because if we are solving it now, there may not be any need to still send it to me. But you can still try it. So I want to run Mary's code and so run this. So it tells us that 30 Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius is 86 degree in Fahrenheit. Does anyone disagree? Does anyone agree? Please, I need it to be interactive. This is coding. If you're not if you're not having a conversation, you will just be listening. There's no difference between you watching YouTube video and being here. So I need interaction, please. So for those that did it, do you disagree? Do you agree? Let me know what approach you took. Do I have to call names? I don't want to tell people.
So I didn't get the question.
No, I said if for the people that did the exercise, because you said you didn't do the
Oh,
exercise.
oh yeah.
Um, okay, someone is saying you declare extra variable that you're not using. Please explain which variable did I declare?
That Celsius variable.
Oh my god, he's right. Okay. Do you know my mind didn't even go there. Thank you. So actually, and I think that was what she actually did. Yes, this was I remember seeing your code. You didn't use the Celsius in your code. You rather use the value of the Celsius. Thank you for pointing that out. Um Mary, can you see this? Let me put it in my chat. Yeah, so that was the thing you did that because I remember actually seeing it, but I just didn't give you correction on that. So yes, he's right. You declare the variable Celsius. The reason for declaring variables is so that you are using your variables in your code. You need to be using your variables in your code. Thank you, Victor, for pointing that out. The last one is hours to seconds. Does anyone want to share how they did their hours to seconds? Or do I just like write to myself? Okay, Mary. Wait, you want to share yours first?
Okay,
Let me give other people a chance. Hold on. Let me see other people.
okay.
If I don't get anyone, you answer. Um, Sandra, are you there?
I'm here, but I'm not here.
Okay. Do you want to try? Should do you want to get
Okay.
all right?
So what I did, so I stated the formula for converting hours to seconds, which is hours multiplied by 2,600.
Okay. So what do I write?
Then I said, so hours equals to, okay, so I stated the formula first, which is hours multiplied by 3,600.
Did you put it in comment or you just
Then,
left it there?
okay, I put it in comment.
Okay. All right.
And then I stated hour equal to 2.
Mm-hmm.
then seconds equals to, well, I did the same thing Moyo did, which is 2 multiplied by 3000. But since I've been corrected, so the variable will be hour multiplied by 3600, then print in bracket seconds.
All right, that's okay. So yeah, so we have very. I'm actually glad everyone is following because there were some errors. There were small errors like this, but it's not something that can not be fixed. So yes, so 2 hours you have 7,200 seconds. Yes, that's all for the exercise from last week. Um, yes, thank you, Sandra, for pointing that out. Does anyone have a question before we start today's class? Okay, I don't think anyone has a question. So let's go into the lesson for today. Today's lesson is input and output. And I'll be finishing one more operator we didn't learn last week. So suggestions came in that I should prepare a note slide. I don't know how I missed that. I think it was I can't remember who suggested that. Mr. Kennedy, yes, was one that suggested that. Sorry, I missed. I just it completely left my mind to do that, but I'll do that from next week or from tomorrow. So let's look at what we didn't do. I want to use this material as a lesson point. I don't know if people okay. I want to use this material as a lesson point because I don't want everyone to over rely on the videos like last time. So I want to use W3 School's material. So in case anything happens like what happened the last time, we all have something to fall back on and say, okay, this is what she was saying, and that's what she was saying. So this material, people use W3 Schools as a reference guide, because you are not expected to memorize everything. It's not everything that um we are teaching now that you will go and be memorizing. You want to know exactly what strings are. These are things that you get used to as you keep practicing. So I want to use this material, and then um these are the two materials I want to be used in the class. W3 schools, and I think I believe I sent this again, but I will send them one more time. So to accompany the books I'm sending, these are the two materials we'll be using for class, and you can use it for your personal study. And for class today, today we're looking at input. We're looking at input. Does anyone have any question? Let me not ignore questions in the chat. All right, so there's no question. Okay.
This sorry.
Yeah.
The second material, can we get link to it?
Okay. Let me put in the chat. You just go to www.edube.org, create an account, and then um, they would you go to you see the courses. There you just have to get the Python Essentials one material. I think yeah. So okay, let's start. So now today we're looking at input output. Oh no, before we do that, let's finish up operators. We didn't finish operators the last time. I only taught arithmetic operators. I didn't teach assignment operators. I didn't teach comparison operators, and I didn't teach logical operators. Identity and identity too. Membership and bitwise. Since I started coding, I've not used those two. So those are the things you should. Those are those things that you just need to know for knowing sake. But as you advance, maybe my own field has not made me use it, but who knows? Can take you there. So I'm going to teach now assignment comparison logical identity. It's I just realized I didn't teach it the last time, and then we'll look at membership and bitwise. So to recap, we know addition, we know subtraction, we know multiplication, we know division, modulus, exponentation, and floor division. These are the ones we know basic, right? And for assignments, we now go on to see different types of operators here. So we know I want to let me show you in code as we're going. So we know the basic equal operator. So this one is x is equal to 5. We know this one. Then we know um plus equal to all of that. So let me show it here now. So we know this one. Okay, I'm not sure we know this. We have this one. We have minus equal to. I would show all of this in a second. We have this equal to, and we have this equal to. Let me just show this briefly. So for this, right, we have x plus equal to 1. Let me comment this out. So what this does is that, let me do it everywhere so we'll see it in action. 1 x, let me make this 2, and let me make this. Okay, so what this does now, if I run this, you would see, and if I say print x, at the end of the day, we will not have 5, because let me zoom this. I'm not sure, just to be sure people can see it. Okay, so at the end of the day now, we've said x is equals to 5. Now add 1 to x. So add 1 to 5. So that's at this point now x becomes 6. Now remove 1 from x. At this point, 6 goes back to 1. Sorry, x goes back to 5. So we say x multiplied by 2, it should be equal to 10. Then by the time we run this, we'll go back to 5. So if I run this, and it gives me 5.0. So what this does is, it's just an inverted way of saying, sorry, it's just an inverted way of saying x plus 1 equal to x. This is also an inverted way of saying x minus 1 equal to x, so on, like that. So um that's how I want to be sure that I'm not missing anyone. Is there any question here? Did you guys get what that the assignment operators? I need interaction, because if, okay, you didn't get it. All right. Let me explain now. We are getting, let me explain it again now. We have x. We have the value x, and is equals to 5. And normally, if we want to do, let me show you a relevant situation now. So we have um age is equal to 50, and we've said um life is age plus, oh no, 2. Let me just give that for an instance. And we've said print age, print life. Now if we print life, it will give us 52, right? And now we want to, what happens when the person becomes 51 years old? And we don't want to run it over and over again. We just come down and say age plus equal to 1. We now print life again. At this point, life is 52. At this point, life is 53. It keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. But we don't, it's just a technicality where we don't want to write age plus 1 equal to age, because we don't want to confuse people. So they just remove this, do this, and then do 1. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense, Sandra? Are you still confused? Okay, okay, fine. So you just do it for all the other operators. So you do the same for plus, you do the same for minus, do the same for multiply, divide, exponentation, floor division. Let me open it. So you do the same for plus, minus, multiplication, division, modulus, floor division, expo. Then we have this. I really never know what this thing is. This art is. I've never really used some of them. But ignoring these two, um, these ones are relevant. Greater equal to, and then less equal to 3. So x is greater equal to 3, and greater than 3, sorry. And then x is greater less. I'm confusing myself, sorry. Less than 3. So when we put the operator and the equal to together, it's still the same thing. So we call those assignment operators because we are assigning values to to different variables. Then the next thing we are doing is operators. So this one is quite technical, so I'm going to take my time to do this. So you already know age is equal to 50, okay? But what if we have age is equal to 40 and we say age is equal to capital letter AGE, sorry, equal to. Now, these two are two different things. What we are doing here now is we are comparing variable 1 and variable 2 together. If we say, if I run this now, we should get the value of false because age small letter is 50 and age capital letter A is 40. Therefore, age small letter a is not the same as age capital letter A. So when we run these two equal to sign, we are only saying is the one by the left. We're only comparing two values. Is the variable by the left equal to the variable by the right? Are the values the same? So if I run this, I should have the value of false. Um, I don't know why it's not running. Sorry, print. It's supposed to run by default, but let's try. Save. And then, okay, sorry, I didn't add the print. So if I do it now, it now runs false because 50 is not the same as 40. That's why. So if I do, let me do another example now. So let's say x is equals to 5 and x and y is equal to 10 divided by 2. Obviously, this will give me a false because by default, 10 divided by 2 in Python will give me 5.0. But let me now run it to say print x equal to y. Before I explain, let me show you what it will give us. And then it has given us false and it has given us true. Well, it's supposed to give us false because it's 5.0, but these are small technicalities that can be avoided. If I run now to say print, um, let me say print y, let me run this. It has given us 5.0. I don't know why it said true because it is 5.0 here. And if I go ahead to say type, print type, um, y, and print type x, it will give us two different things. But I guess sometimes the computer knows what it's doing, I guess. So one is float, one is integer. So I don't know why x equal to y is true because they are both different things. But I guess the computer can ignore some of these things. So do you understand is anyone confused about the equal to equal to? Nothing, no one said nothing, so I believe it's understood. Okay. So
No, 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 please. No, it's not that to do. What is the difference between one equals to and the double?
okay. The one equal to is saying x is equal to 5, right? But the double equal to is saying is the value by the left equal to the value by the right. If you know a scale, the logical, let me get a scale to show you. If you think of it as a scale. I don't want to use this scale. 2 point scale, I think. I think it's like lawyer's scale or something. I don't know if it's like lawyer's scale, but let me see if I can get the image. Let me see if I exactly. Think of this image now, this picture, where you have two things by the end. The equal to is this line here. This is the balance saying check to see if one side is bigger than the other side or if they are the same thing. Just think of the equal to as this scale that is checking to see if there is a balance. Now, if x has a value of 100 and x is by the left here and y is by the right here and y has the value of 101, of course it will not be balanced because it will give us false because x is not the same as y. But if x is 100 and y on the other end is 100, it's balanced, it will give us true. Do you get it now, Mary? All right. So that's how you identify or you separate the single equal to and the double equal to. One is an assignment, the other one is for comparison. One says this variable is this has this value, and the other one says this variable is equal to this other variable. And then the opposite of that is this. So the opposite of this one is this one. This says is x not equal to y. So if I say print x not equal to y, um, let me clean this off, save and I run. And then it has given us false. So it's saying that x is not different. Sorry, that x is equal to y because the assignment the operator there was not equal. So if x is not equal to y, it will say true. But as x is equal to y, it has said false. It is not. Okay, let me not confuse myself. But the opposite of equal to is exclamation equal to. Then we have another comparison, another one which is greater than. So we all know, or we probably all know this one, and we probably all know this one. We also have print x greater this one. Now, what this one says is x greater than y or equal to y. This one says greater, we have greater than, we have less than, we have greater or equal to. So what we want to check here is to see if x is greater than or is equal to y. And then the opposite of this, obviously, let me just copy this because feeling now say yes. So these are the comparison operators. We have one more. I'm not remembering. So let me look out for it. Oh, that's it. That's all. That's all. So I've shown you equal. I've shown you not equal. I've shown you greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Have I confused anyone? Before we move on to the logical operators, is there anyone that has any questions? Please, you guys should ask your questions though, because this is supposed to be an interactive class, and there's no difference between, if you're quiet, there's no difference between watching a video online and being in class. So please ask your questions if you have, but if you don't have, just let me know you don't have a question.
Just
I think
just to
everything is
be
clear.
sure, this x greater than equal to y is saying is x greater than y or equal to y, right?
Yes. So let's say x
Okay,
has
okay,
a
thank you.
value. Let's say x has a value of 10, but we are not sure if we're not sure of the value of y. Let's just assume. So what we're asking the computer to print is, let us know if y is greater than, if it's 10 above, or if it's also 10.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I get it now.
Yes. All right. Kennedy, your mic was muted. Do you want to say anything?
No, I was saying there's no question for me.
All right. So let's move on to. Okay, you want to say something? Because I know I heard you. All right. I can't hear you anymore, but it's fine. But the next thing is to look out for logical operators. So logical operators are just operators that we use to know if something makes sense. Okay, to combine things. So now we've said, as you can see in the example here, I think I can zoom it a bit. All right. So as you can see in the example here now, we have the operators and, or not. So we want to check if x is less than 5 and it's also less than 10. I'll give you an example. Okay, let me just list all of them first. Then we have the or operator, which says we want to know if x is less than 5 or it's also less than 4. And then we want to check if x is not basically this. But let me explain it. So let me go to idle. Let me clean this and go to idle. So I will clean all of this. Now we have x is equal to 100, and we have y is equal to 200. Let's just keep it there. Now we want to check if x is less than 50. Would say this is something you learn later. If statements, if else statements. So please don't worry. Just wait. If x is less than 50, we would say print yes. Let's just say print x. If I run this, it will give me nothing. It will give me nothing because x is not less than 50. Obviously, x is above 50. But usually we end this with an else. I skipped the else part. Do I have a seems like I'm hearing beeping. Okay, please ask your question, Kennedy.
Time is remaining 15 minutes.
Yes, as like we did last week, I would send you a new link in the group, then you join. So don't worry about that. All right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. So let's. Where was I? Yes. So we have x is less than. As you saw before, nothing printed in the console because x is not less than. It's not less than 100. It's not less than 50. I keep mixing my points. Sorry. So we'll say print else print. Let's say no, or something. So by default now, it should print no because x is 100 and 100 is greater than 50. So now, what logical operators now comes to do is to say if x is less than 50, for us to get a statement now that is worthy of anything, we will say if x is greater than 50 or x is equal to 100, print x. Obviously, x is 100 So based on the fact that we have said, check if this one is happening or this one is happening. If it either fulfills this one or this one, print. So if we run this now, it will say 100 because it didn't meet the condition of this one, but it met the condition of this one in that x is obviously 100. It now printed x. But now where we have and, it says if x is less than, okay, let me do this. Let me do this now. Let me change the number here. If x is greater than 50 and it is also equal to 100, print x. So on the condition of and, the two conditions must be met. So if this one here is true and this one is true, then print this. But if this one, when we use or, if one is true but the other one is false, it will still run it because one condition has been met. But and in the case of and, two sides must be met. So we'll say print x. So if I do this now, obviously it will give me 100 because x is definitely greater than 50 and it's also equal to 100. The other way we would have done this, the simple way we would have done it from before is if x greater or equal to, and we do this, of course it will give us 100. So have I confused anyone? Is anyone confused? Any question? I thought it's supposed to say false. What is supposed to say false? Sorry. Sandra, your question. You asked the question.
Okay, well, it's the first one. The first one where you said less than, if x is less than 50 or um equal to equal to 100. I thought it's supposed. I think it said it's nothing. I thought it was supposed to say false. That's the
No,
question.
it said nothing because no condition was met. Because the way if statements work is we are checking if something is here, then do this one. If you find somebody on the road, give him that thing, right? So we now ran if x is less than 50 and x was obviously above 50, right? So it didn't see anything. It didn't we didn't give it any condition to say, okay, what happens when x is less than. You will understand if and else statements later, but I just wanted to make logical operators make sense to you. Um, right. So it didn't give a false because we didn't meet the it didn't meet the okay, let me I think I understand your question, but let me try to explain it differently. It would have given us false if we said print less than 50. It would have given us false if we said print x less than this or x equal to 100, right? I think this was the particular condition. It would have given us that false you're talking about. Okay, no, I didn't write the same thing. I think it was and. Yes, it will give us false here because I asked it to print to the console to print the result. That was your question. But in that one, I used an if. I put everything in an if statement. I made an if statement there. That was why it didn't print anything to the other side. So it's on the condition that I use a print function that it will print out false or true to the other end. I think I understood your question. Right. So let me see. So that when we come back, we are well. We also have the identity operators where we'll say is x is y, x is not y. The same thing. They said identity operators are used to compare the objects, not if they are equal, but if they are actually the same object. So we'll say if x is y, just use the same format for the logical operators. Identity operators does the same. Is x in okay, no, that's membership. Is x y or x is y, x is not y. It's just the same thing. And then membership is, this one is quite complex to explain. But if we have x in y, let me give an example. Let me see how much time we have. 9 minutes. Okay, I can still cover it. All right. So let's say we want to use membership now. X is equal to fruit. X is equal to fruit. X is equals to apple, right? And we have fruits is equal to, let's make it a list to say apple. No, let me not start from apple. Mango, watermelon, what's that fruit? Orange, and let me now put let me put apple, apple and banana. So we want to now find out, okay, in list, do we have apple in list? We will now go on to say print X in fruits. Let's see this. True. So I'm not sure if you can see it clearly. Let me clean this off and do it again. True. Because X being apple is in fruit. So we have apple in fruit. So um if we say if we now say print and I say not in fruit, right? Yes. So if I run this, we would have a true and would have a false because apple is definitely in the list of fruits. So that explains membership operators. So for membership operators, let me see if I have a question. Okay. For membership operators, we have in and not in, and you just check if something is in another thing or like that. So does anyone have a question? Yes, Sandra, please ask your question.
I don't know if this question is silly, but okay. So, for instance, let's say on the list of fruits, you don't have X, or I don't know if I'm making sense, or the apple is not there.
Mm-hmm.
If you print it, would it say false?
Yes, that's the main aim.
Okay.
That's the main aim of the membership. We want to know if it's there. If it's there, the way I think I've not cleaned my code. If X for this line now, if Apple was not in this list, of course it will give us false. It will tell us that, okay, it's not there, right? But we just went a step ahead to say is not in. If Apple was not here now, the answers will be reversed. Okay. If we print this, X in fruit will give us false, X not in fruit will give us true. Simple. That's just how it is. Any other question? Seems everybody here understood. I'm actually happy everyone is understanding well. Please ask
Please,
your
hello, Ibu.
okay.
Hi, Ibu. Please, can you go back to the code?
Okay.
Okay. Um. Oh,
Should I,
okay, okay. Sorry, I didn't see that you created the variable x and assigned apple to it. I was wondering where x came from. I just saw it at the top.
oh, okay. All right. All right.
X.
I can
Okay,
just
so the second one is if apple is not
not in.
in
Yes.
fruit, and the other one is in. So what's the difference?
Okay. The first one is saying that we want to know if the variable x, the value of x is present in the value of fruit. Then the other one is
Okay.
saying, please let us know if it's not there. So if it's there, to give us true in the first one. In the second one, if it's not there, to give us true. I just confused myself. Wait. If apple is in fruits, X in fruits will give us true. But if apple is
True.
not in fruits, X not in fruits will give us true because obviously it's not there. But if it's there, not in fruits will give us false.
Okay. Okay. So the first one is saying that we want to know if it's part of the fruit
Yes.
collection.
Yes.
So the second one is trying to check to make sure that it's not part of it.
Yes. So it just allows us to know, okay, is this a member of the group? Or is it not we just want to know. So depending on which one you use, whether you use in or not in, depending on it, it will give us your answer.
So, but the second one now is not in fruit. This is kind of logical. Is also giving us true
Not in fruit gave you true.
because apple was not part of the collection of the fruits.
Exactly.
So put apple inside the fruit, and if it's going to give us false.
Oh, okay, okay. I removed it to show something. Just hold on. Okay, so now this is what you're talking about. And if I run it again, it give us false. So we have
Okay.
true because it's in it, and false it's not because we use the not in operator. I'm actually confusing myself a lot. So yes, that's why we have true and false. So Victor said something that would be very helpful to those trying to understand how it works. He said the in and the not in, it compares item in a collection, compares item in is in collection of items and return a boolean. As we talked about data types, we said that boolean values is either true or false, right? So it will check if that item is in a collection of the items, and it will now say, okay, it's true, it's here, or it's true, it's not here, false, it's not here, false, it's not here, something like that. You get it? So any other question? Because when we come back, we are going straight to let me just send the link now so people can start joining. There's no need to wait 2 minutes. Let me just send the link now. But after this, we'll be going straight to um today's topics, which is input and output. So we can go from there. Okay, so you can go to the groups and I would, okay, let me just send it here. I'm sending the link in the chat, right? So I'm sending the link in the chat, but I would also send it to the groups now. Um, so yeah, you can leave this one to join that one. I would okay, so welcome. Sorry for the movement. From next week, I think we'll have to sort this out. Okay. Let me send it to everyone before we continue. Please, if you have your questions, though, I'm still asking because I need to know that everyone is following. So please, if you have your questions, just be asking me so that thank you all for joining back. I'm so sorry for the movement. Sorry for the movement. It's it will be sorted out soon. Okay. We're looking at impute.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
So after this class, do we still need to join the 7 o'clock class?
No, no, no.
Okay.
This was supposed to help those that have the times because we have a lot of students that the normal class was affecting. So this was supposed to help the people, or this is supposed to help the people that can't join the 7 o'clock to attend. The 7 o'clock class will have different instructors. So if you're not here now, it's fine. Other people will be teaching that time. So this is how we'll be doing it every Friday. We may consider the same for Saturday, but for Friday, different instructors, different classes. So now let's move on to input. So I'm going to briefly explain input by the exercise we did, um, the dollar exercise. Okay, I want us to use that one because already it seems to be it's already a familiar Um, it's already a familiar exercise we've done. So let me. I'm being too lazy here. Okay, so let me now share my screen. I just realized I've not shared it. All right, so let's go to my screen. Now we said that print allows us to transfer like information from our code to the console. But what happens when we want to collect information from our console into our code? We use the function input. If you're very familiar with the lingua of computers, there's this or the computer language or something. You hear people say garbage in, garbage out, right? Think of it when you use input that whatever you give the computer is what the computer is going to collect, do the math behind it, and then give it back to you. So let's say I'm going to build a computer human, a basic computer. I like to call it computer human because what makes a human being is features. So we have our eyes, we have our certain features in our body, complexion, age, nationality, and all. So I like to call what I want to the program I want to build now a computer human, but you may disagree with me. So the first thing that makes you human is your name. So we say this is supposed to be a class exercise, but I want to do it myself. Then we'll do the second one. We'll do others. So we have my name is Ibbe, right? And we have age. I'm 400 years old. Then nationality, we have Nigerian. Then complexion, yes, complexion. We have dark. I've been told. Then eyes. I have two eyes. Then I'm forgetting. Let me change this to brown. Brown eyes. Because many people may not understand why I wrote two there. So brown eyes, um, fingernails, my fingers. Then I guess I'm looking for other features of feature. Can you guys suggest other characteristics? Because it seems I've forgotten characteristics.
Yes.
What? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. Thank you. Sure. Um. Let me work with this for now. I just want to make my point, but we can add it later. So now we have these features. So to me, this is the computer's way of saying, or this is the way of saying that the person that has name Ebe, she's 400 years, she's a Nigerian, dark complexion, brown. That's why I call it a computer human. Now, how does this relate to what I want to say now? We want to now make a full statement that to say um name. So we'll say my name is, then I will now put the variable here. Okay. My name is, it will pass whatever I have here. As this F is like is fancy editing, but we call it like a fancy string. Okay. It just we if I remove this F here now and I keep typing, I'll remove it for now and then we'll see the error. So I am age years old and I am a do I have a small letter or capital letter? Small letter. Nationality. I am a dash. Um, my skin is complexion and my eyes are eyes. Okay, so we're passing these variables just not to confuse anyone. All we're doing here is passing variables that we have. into our code so we can run it as a statement. So I have 10 fingers and okay. I have fingers, fingers, and I have ears, ears. End it with a string with a quotation. Don't forget to end your quotation, and then it's a long statement, so all these things may be mistaken. Okay, so now if I print, right, let me be sure I don't have any previous thing in the console. Now if I print this, obviously it will give me an error, but I don't know if I do may ignore the error. Okay, it didn't even ignore, it did something else. Now, can anyone point out what it did, so that let me be sure I'm carrying everyone along. Looking at the
It
console,
printed
what's happened? Hmm?
You
when you
repeated what
created
you.
the variables to as
Yeah.
strings.
So I didn't get what you said.
It printed the variables to as strings instead of the
Exactly.
values.
Yes, 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 yes. It just basically repeated what I wrote. So now, but for it to work, let me remove this. I have to now put the F here that says, okay, go ahead and add the values. And I think we've taken light. Sorry. And then now it has put all the data I put there. My name is Ebube. I'm 400 years old. I am a Nigerian. My skin is dark. My eyes are brown. I have 10 fingers and I have 2 ears. So that's what it has done now. Um, that's how it works. Now, but where does input come? What happens when this program is not for you, but this program is for, let's say, your sibling? You want to impress your sibling that doesn't know how to write code, and you're like, but you don't know the name. Maybe your sibling has two names, because most people have English name and their local name, right? So I have my English, I don't have an English name, but I have my second name. But you don't know the name I want to put. Let's say I want to put my second name, Nena, right? But you don't want to assume that that's the name I'm going to put. So you just ask me to put the name I want to put by myself. Sorry. Okay, so you just ask me to put the name I want to put, and by saying, oh yeah, impute your own value to say what is your name. That way you've given me the option to, sorry, I missed the quotation, to put in what I want to put. The same thing goes for all the variables now. Think of it like your when you go to the ATM and they ask you to enter your password, right? So think of it that way, to say with input, you are giving, the computer is asking you to, um, let me just show you what I mean by that. So let me let me just make this invisible, and then I say password equal to input, enter your password to log in or something. Then if I run this, it will tell me enter your password to log in. Then I will now just put my password, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and then obviously if I press enter, I didn't tell it any other thing to do, but it will store the value 1 2 3 4 5 6 as my value for. And if I say print password, right? Let me try it again. And let's see what it does. 1 2 3 4 5 6. It will now print out 1 2 3 4 5 6 as my as the value of password. So input allows the user to put in the data they want, the value they want for, they don't know it's a variable obviously, but you store the user's input in a variable with the use of the input function. Now, In this exercise, in this example I use now for this password, I put in numbers, but the computer, if I now say print type password, okay, I put in a number. So let's see if the computer recognizes the number I put in, if it recognizes what I put in as a number or as a string. So if I save this and I run this, if I save it, 1 2 3 4 5 6, it's a string. If you can see here, str refers to string. If it was a number, it would have done int. So it doesn't recognize it as a number, it recognizes it as the same as quotation my name, basically. So it recognizes it the same as abcde and all of that. So that is why I put, in the other one I put int. Int is integer. I instructed the computer to store whatever the user puts here as an integer, as a number. So if I save this and I run it and come again and I put 1 2 3 4 5 6, the same thing. It now knows it as a number, not as a string. Have I confused anyone? Height, yes. Sorry, I was now I'm seeing this. Yes, height. Sorry, I would when I go back to it, I'll add it. So have I confused anyone? Does anyone have any question for what I just explained with input? Um, are we good? Please just use. Yes, Kennedy. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, Sandra is lost. Let's find you. Okay, so let's go back to the beginning. Um, do I have a question? Okay, thought I had a question. Okay, let's go back to the beginning now. Do you have any particular place you're lost? Let me know if I can.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
I got lost from the password. Like when you started writing the password and 1 2 3 4 5 6, I think that's where I got lost. Like it became confusing.
Okay. When I started talking about password, I was like, think of when you go to the ATM and you put your card, right? The people that wrote the code behind the ATM have said they want you to collect your password from you, to check if the password that is registered with your ATM card is the same as the password you put in. Okay. That they use input. Just imagine when you go to the password, the ATM, you put your card in and you're putting in your digits. Okay. And when you put in your password, it now stores that value in a variable, right? So in this case now we have the variable password. I won't Let me use X, since we are using X, and X is like a familiar variable. Normally I would say maybe X is equals to 100. But in this case now we want the user, the person for we want the user from the console here to put in the number or put in a value that will go straight and be stored in the variable behind the scene. Okay. So still using the ATM illustration, you've come to, let's assume this is your ATM, the screen you're seeing now is your ATM, and you've put your card and they've said enter your password to log in. And now my password for my ATM is 1 2 3 4 5 6. And then when I passed it, there's, let's say, a more complex code. It will, if it checks if the code, the password I entered is the same with the password I registered with, it will now print you have successfully logged in, welcome to your code or welcome to your account, before the other things them. So with input, you write the input function. So you write input, you open the bracket, right? Then you put whatever you want it to display here. So let's say an input instruction. So if you don't put anything, the user may be confused. It's usually people put in instruction with the input, but I've never, now I think about it, I've never tried keeping the input bracket blank. It may work, I don't know, I'll check it. But I just usually put a statement in. So enter your password to log in, right? And then it puts it here. I now went ahead to say, let me show you the code so I don't confuse you. I now went ahead to say print whatever the user put here, print password. So usually what you know is is equals to 100, then print x, then to now print 100. But now we've said x is equals to input, enter x, enter the number x, or enter the value for x, then we'll now say print x. So whatever the user puts in on the console will be printed out when we say print x. So before, we are just going direct to say my age is equals to 400 or my name is equals to ABB. But now we've asked the user to say, what is your name? The user will now type in the name. It will now store as name. Have I found you a bit or
You've totally found me.
okay? So input allows you to collect data from the user from the console. Okay, so there is no need to assume your hands were up. Sandra, your hands were up. Was it a mistake?
Sorry, mistake,
Okay,
mistake.
so there's no need to assume that this is the value here now. Let's say we just don't know what the because as you're going now, by the end of today's class, you will be doing a lot of projects, tip calculator. In fact, okay, no, maybe I'll give the assignment tomorrow. Let me not overwhelm you. But we have projects we'll be doing. You will see the relevance where you you don't want you need the user's input for the code to keep running. Because after today now, you guys have gone from complete beginners to middle beginners, right? Because now you know how to with what you know, you can write basic codes. In fact, you can write code that makes sense to not just yourself, to people, other people that are using your code. So when you're building your program and you have variables there, input allows the people using your program to be the ones to pass values in through the console. So now let me explain again the int I put here. So what happened? Okay. So if you go to my console now, you see that I had this first answer here. As at this point, I didn't add int. So it stored the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as letters. So that's why it recorded it as a string. String is the same A, B, C, D. Anything you put in quotation is string. But then I now wanted it to recognize the number as a number. And now that was what made me put int. We call it casting. That's when you specify that this is the type of value I want. This is the type of data I want in my value. So if I wanted to specify, let's say I have x is equal to 5, but I want 5.0, I will just do float and I've casted it as 5. So if I go ahead to print, sorry, I go ahead to print x, right, it will now give me, sorry, I like to clean this off, sorry. It will now give me 5 points. Sorry, this part is still there. It will give me 5.0 because I've casted 5, that is an integer, to be a float. Okay. It's time for the first exercise. I don't know if anyone has any. Okay, yeah, I didn't finish the one I was writing. So yes, height. Let me add height equal to. How do they write height? cm. Some people do cm. So let me just say 170 cm. So let me unfreeze, clean everything from down here. Let's finish this. So with input, I have a question. Okay. So with input I have, let me go ahead to say this is a number. I need a number here, an integer here. So I'll cast it to say integer input. What is your age? Right. two brackets close, inputs, right? What is your nationality? Okay. The same thing goes round. I can spin this to say, are you fair or dark? It doesn't matter what the question you write, it just matters what the person puts in. Um, Inputs, the color of your eyes. I missed anything. How many fingers do you have? It's a strange question to ask. Okay, and then this is an integer. Yes, I forgot. So I have to put the int, and I want to just replicate. I'm tired of typing. How many eyes? How many ears? Sorry. And then integer input. What is your height? What is your height? Let me go and add. I have, I am height cm tall. Okay. So if we come to the end of this and we now say no, we run this. Let me kill every console king I had before. Alright, so now if we control save, run. It's ask me what's my name, so I'm going to use my second name. And now so age 400, Nigerian, dark, brown, 10, 2, height 170. And then my name is Nena. I am 400 years old. I am a Nigerian. My skin is dark. My eyes are brown. I have 10 fingers and I have 2 ears. I'm 70 cm tall. So that's it. So every information I passed here, it directly saved on the other end. So that's what happened here. Any question? Okay, what's your question? Does anybody have a question? I think we're good to go.
I don't have a question.
All right, all right. So it's time for the first exercise. Does everybody have their IDE open? Maybe your IDE is open, your Replit. Um, for those that don't have their system, you can use your phone. I'm not even checked. Let me see the people here. Glory, do you have a question? Are you following?
Yeah, I'm following.
Okay.
Though I hear late. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Winnie, are you there? Are you following? I think someone's.
Yes, I'm following.
All right. Priscilla. Priscilla, are you good? It seems I have a message. Priscilla, are you following? Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm
Uh,
good.
all right. So we're going to the first exercise now. The first exercise we're going to do is going to be very simple. I'll keep it very, very simple. So we want to. It's just for you to replicate what I've just done here. The first exercise now is for you to create what they call a band name generator, right? So let's say there's a musical group. They don't know the name they will come up with, and you want to create a program that will create a name for them. And the name they would have is going to combine the name of their favorite flower and the name of their pet growing up. So if you like Lily and you had a dog growing up, the name of that musical band will be Lily Dog. So you need to build a program that combines the name of their favorite flower, the name of their pet growing up, and then you now print the statement that tells them your band name is so so and so. Oh, there's something else I want to show you that will help you. So let's say we want to combine name and eyes. Would say print your name is another way of joining values together, but you can either use f string or you can use your name is plus, let me keep space here. Your name is name plus, I don't think I need this. I don't need this. I don't need this, sorry. Plus eyes, right? Sorry. I need to be sure I did this right. So let me in this plus this. So we call this one string concatenation. It means to join value. So I just need name and eyes. I'll save this. I'll run it. Go out. Run it. And Nena Brown. The name is Nena Brown, basically. But if you need to put a space here, you do plus rotation space rotation plus. So if this is just basically me showing you guys what to do, but Nena basically. So your exercise is band name generator. Let me send the question here. So what we are doing now is a band name generator. I didn't even know where I stopped with the explaining. It's a band name generator, and then I've confused myself. So you're supposed to combine the values of pet, favorite flower, um, to give the user their band name with. I'm typing it. I'm typing. I'll share my screen soon. Just hold on. With the variables you have. Okay. So let me. So let me share my screen to the to this. I don't. I'm just going to copy this to the chat. It's a guide for anyone confused. Um, but any other thing apart from this is me telling the answer. So we have 10 minutes to work on this. 10 minutes is too much. 5 minutes to work on this. So you're supposed to, the way we did for these ones I've sent to the group. The main thing here is to combine the value of the user's pet and favorite flower, and then to give them a new variable band name, and then we'll print a statement that tells them this is your band name, or this is the name of your band. However I want to do it, it's up to you to um give value to, or it's up to you to decide how you want to run your print statement, but the values are the variables are the same. You need a variable for pets, you need a variable for flower, favorite flower, and you do the rest. So 5 minutes. If you have any question, leave it in the chat for me, for those doing the task, but it's supposed to be an interactive task. So if you have any question, just let me know. Okay, is anyone done? Is anyone done and wants to share what they've done? Okay, nobody is done. Is it confusing?